2 words, 9 letters. 9 letters with an apostrophe. Don't steal. That's it. That's it. Understand what your property rights are. Understand what they're not. Don't take that which doesn't belong to you. The end. The end. I don't know if anyone has actually really condensed it down that succinctly. That's what natural law is. That's what the whole earth right now in this current incarnation is about. It's a prison for thieves, all people who want to continue to be a thief, who want to continue to steal, who want to continue to advocate theft. And you're all here to come to an understanding with creation, with natural law. Understanding, meaning you're going to continue to be held bound in this prison, chained here by your own free will choosing. Nothing else is holding us in this prison. Nothing else is continuing to make this be a prison except our own erroneous use of free will. That's it. We don't know how to consciously create, and therefore, through our ignorance, we're creating unconsciously. We will continue to exist imprisoned on the prison planet called the Earth, the theft prison, the thief prison, okay? Until we stop committing theft and stop condoning other people from committing theft. Stop condoning that action. Stop committing it ourselves and stop condoning that other people be allowed to be thieves with impunity. That's it. It doesn't really get any simpler than that, folks. That's about as simple as I can boil it down in simple English language terms. If you can't grasp it, there's something wrong with your brain. Because you can't ask for a simpler definition. What is natural law? Don't steal. That's it. Understand what's yours. Understand what's not yours. Stop taking things that aren't yours. That's natural law. That's it. And because we won't live by that law, we're in a cage. That's why we're in jail. We're in a cage, we're in a prison collectively because we want to continue to be thieves and not understand that we're taking that which doesn't belong to us, and we want to continue to condone that act. That's it. So concurrent to this understanding, last week we talked about one of the biggest groups of thieves in the world, all governments. All governments, no matter what kind of government it is, no matter where it's at on the face of the earth, no matter what culture has brought it into existence, no matter what time period of history. Every single government that has ever existed on the face of the earth, external government, let's call it, okay? Because there is real government called internal government, meaning that you control your own thoughts, emotions, and actions, and that's real. Every illusory form of externalized government, the claim of authority on other people, every single person who is doing that or advocating it is a thief, and they're a slave. It is the ideology of slavery. It is one of the 2 religions of slavery. Government and money, the 2 religions of slavery. Fake money. Again, you got to understand there's a real version and there's a fake version. Just like there's a real government, which is internal, there's a fake version, which is external. The real one eye is spiritual enlightenment. The fake one eye is all forms of what we call currencies. We talked about this group, the archonists, the ones who accept that there is such a thing as masters and slaves, all people who acknowledge government, condone its existence, condone its continuity, are archonists. We talked about what the word anarchy really means last week, and I put that in slide number 4. The word anarchy comes from 2 Greek words, a prefix and a noun. The prefix an, in Greek it's spelled alpha nu, okay, means, when you tack it onto the beginning of a word, without or the absence of, not present, in other words. Lacking, not present, absent. Okay, without, not having this. However you want to word it or look at it, that's what a or an means. So an, at the beginning of anarchy, means without or not present or the absence of. And then the second part, archy, archy, comes from the Greek word, the noun in Greek, archon. archon, transliterated into English. In Greek, this would be spelled alpha, rho, chi, omicron, nu, archon. Okay? So, what is an archon in the Greek language? It means a master, as in one who owns and keeps slaves. Or a ruler, as in a king who has subjects that must obey his whims, that must obey his authority. He owns other people. He is the owner of other people. That's all an archon is. If you believe in government, you are an archonist. That means you believe certain people are masters, other people are slaves, certain people have rights that other people don't have, and certain people have a moral obligation to obey the whims and commands of those who are their masters. And that's what all government is, if you're being honest with yourself. If you want to be a liar, if you want to be a person who is ignorant and who wants to ignore reality of what it really is, go and tell yourself that's not what government is. It'll never make it true. You can go and believe whatever you want about what you think government is, but what it is a claim of authority on other people's lives. That's it. It's the simplest way of putting what government is. And how it's perpetuated is right in the word. Governa, governare, or guberna, gubernare in Latin means to control, mens, mentis, and yes, that is the second part of the word etymologically, whether you understand that or acknowledge it or not. Yes, it is. It means to control the mind. Mens mentis means mind. So government literally is to control the mind. And that's how they get people to believe this nonsense that doesn't exist. That's an illusion in a diseased human psyche, by controlling their mind, by influencing and manipulating the mind. So all anarchy means is the absence of masters. No masters. Well, you tell people, well, there's no masters here. There's no masters and rulers. There's no masters and slaves. We don't have masters and slaves relationships here. Okay? That doesn't exist here. And what would people say? Well, you have a free society then. You have freedom. You have equality under natural law. Everybody has equal rights. Nobody has rights that other people don't have. That's called freedom. People living according to the non-aggression principle, natural law. But no, people think this means chaos. It could never happen. We could never have this condition. That's crazy. You could never have a state. You could never have a condition on earth where there are no rulers and masters, where there is no authority. They actually believe this nonsense. They actually believe their own nonsense. That could never exist. That this is the natural spiritual condition of humanity everywhere, no matter where intelligent life exists in the cosmos. This is the natural state. Anarchy. No masters, no rulers. The only thing the entire cosmos is ruled by is natural law. That's it. You are ruled ultimately by the all. If you want to call that God, go ahead. It's meaningless to me. That term, people get all hung up on it. Whether you want to acknowledge that that's the creative force, the underlying unified field aspect of creative intelligence that is inherent to the universe, however you want to word it, it doesn't matter to me. That's your business. This is an intelligent, creative field that we are living in. It is the authority. That's it. That means the totality of everything has put natural law into effect along with free will. Natural law is the deterministic component to the universe. Free will is the chaotic component to the universe. That's it. That which really cannot be controlled because we always have the ability to make a choice at any given time. So you have the randomness component called free will in conjunction with the deterministic component called natural law. And that's what we create through. Do we guide our free will in conjunction with the law that ultimately governs and binds us and determines what the experience we get as a result of our behavior is? So you could say, well, then free will becomes an illusion. If you want to look at it like that, does that mean you're a slave? That you're ultimately, somehow in a big cage called the universe? I don't look at the universe like that. This law exists because it is the balance principle that is put here for our betterment and our spiritual uplift. That's what it's here for. It's not here to torture us. Natural law is here to care for us. That's the only authority we need to bend the knee to live according to the non-aggression principle. Stop putting your ego over other people's rights. Stop believing that you can condone theft and somehow that's okay. That's called justification. You're trying to create a right that doesn't exist by saying it's okay for violence to be conducted here. No, it's never okay for violence to be conducted. Don't get that confused with the defensive use of force. Understand, the non-aggression principle goes hand in hand with the self-defense principle. If you're being accosted with violence, you have an inherent right already to respond with defensive use of force. That's it. It's so simple, it's stupid. It's so simple, you have to be such an idiot not to get it. I mean, people should be horrifically ashamed of themselves. Don't pat somebody on the back and go, oh, dear, there. It's so terrible that you don't get it. No! Hammer them. Tell them it's not okay for you to condone this. It's not okay for you to support violence. You're not right. You're not in the right. You don't have the right. You never had the right. Get out of your ego. Get out of your head. Start understanding what violence is. Start understanding you don't have a right to it. Start understanding what wrongdoing is. Start understanding you don't have a right to it. Stop acting like a child. Stop acting like an ignoramus. It's not okay. It's not okay. This new age approach needs to go, folks. It needs to go. It's junk. It's junk. It doesn't work. People are not getting the message. I'm telling you, I went to this Mind, Body, Spirit Expo here in Philly, and it's full of sadists, full of people who advocate the continuance of government and think it's okay. They don't understand the non-aggression principle at all. At all. At all. And they call themselves spiritual. They call themselves spiritual. They don't get it at all because they've bought a lie. They've bought this junk lie that enlightenment is all about my happiness. It's all about me being as elated as possible at all times of the day and never letting anything disturb my field of energy around me so I could hold the space. You know what to do with that? You know where you can cram it. Okay? It's bunk. The whole thing is just I call it the last cul-de-sac before the gold mine. They're not getting spiritual gold. They think it's never about getting angry about anything. They think it's always about being happy at all times. Let me tell you something. Enlightenment is not about your happiness, folks. If you believe that, you believe New Age bunk religion. Enlightenment is about getting pissed off when you see that we've built a prison here out of all infinite possibility that we could have created. It's about seeing all the dirt that exists in the world and recognizing it for what it is and being honest about it. And it's a destructive process. It means the truth is coming in and destroying the lie. And you're seeing, as the room fills up with light, that there's feces smeared all over the walls. Okay? That's what enlightenment is. This new age idea of enlightenment is junk. Junk. And it needs to be rejected. The light is not here to make you feel so elated and happy that you're like you're on drugs, because that's what these new agers are like. They're so disgrounded. They're so floating in some spiritual coma that It's like, and it literally is. They're on a drug. They have endorphins flooding into the brain from constant meditation and this constant non-engagement with true reality. That what is an endorphin, folks? It's an endogenous morphine. They are on drugs. That's what a right brain, imbalanced brain is all about. You're pumping so many endogenous morphines or endorphins into the bloodstream and into the brain that you're totally in a state of imbalance. Get out of this New Age bunk ideology.